Hi, hopefully we are going out live and you can see and hear me okay. I'm Laura Affinity, I'm the multimedia content manager at AdRoll, and we do these live streams every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time because we're here in San Francisco, where we bring you a whole range of chat and conversation with founders, CEOs, marketers, experts, industry insiders to help bring some information, some inside advice and inspiration for your businesses. So I'm going to be joined today, very excited to be finally welcoming, because this has been in the pipeline for a little while and we've had a few kind of like changes to plans and things over recent months, but we're going to be joined by Kari Sapp, who is the co-founder and CEO of Goodboy, which make these amazing supplements for dogs. So we're going to talk a little bit about how this idea came about, how the company got started, and all of her backstory, and then just some of her advice as well, of course, for starting a company and you know, especially these crazy times such as 2020 when we just don't know what's coming around the corner. Before we get into our chat with Kari this morning, though, I did want to promote our direct to consumer, our D2C shopping list. Now, I have spoken about this briefly before because back in April, I think March or April, we're putting together a list of direct to consumer companies that people could shop from. So if you didn't want to go to the big box, you know, retailers, if you didn't want to go to the Amazons and you wanted to support smaller or medium-sized businesses to perhaps get some of the things that you want and need for the house, home, and whatever it might be, we thought we'd offer up a shopping list basically where you could go and find products without having to go to the big brands. So I've got a little advert here for you to take a look at.
Are you sick and tired of spending your money with these big, mean companies? Well, guess what? Buy direct and shop small with our D2C shopping list. Shop from our categories, including food and groceries, home supplies, pet supplies, mattresses and bedding, games, health and wellness, beauty, online classes, clothing, accessories, jewelry, kids, fitness, gifts, and more. Click on the link in the bio for your buying pleasure. Thank you.
Some may say that's too much. I say it's not enough. I say a link in the bio, but it's going to be a link in the comments and chat. I'll add that. If you're watching from LinkedIn or you're watching on Facebook, we'll add the link there. But also, we'd love to know just like where you're watching from, how you're doing. Give us a wave hello. This is live, so of course we can take your questions and we can take your comments while we're live here today. So do get in touch and just let us know who you are and where you're watching from. Okay, so before we get carry on, I did a little scope around the office asking people of AdRoll to share the good boys of AdRoll. So we have definitely a strong love and bond with our animals and our pets. And a couple of people came forward and shared some of the tricks and some of the amazing skills of the dogs of AdRoll. There we go. Big thank you to Batman, Hachi, and Walter for sharing their skills with us, the good boys of AdRoll. Hopefully, I know at the moment I have a bit of a weird lag going on with my screen, so I'm hoping that you can see and hear me okay, and that you are seeing the videos. But we'll see how we get on. That's the joy of doing a live stream. Without further ado, then, let's welcome our guest today, Kari. How are you doing? Good morning.
I'm good. How about you?
Not too bad, thank you. I'm hoping you just were able to see some videos that went out and it wasn't just me looking at my screen, because I'm seeing different things on this end.
Yeah. I saw all the B-roll there. You're just delayed a bit. So now you're really speeded up. So I guess maybe they're trying to catch you up.
The joys of technology. We just integrated some high-speed internet into the house, so you know that seems to be working well, but never mind. And thank you so much for joining us. As I said, we've had this in the pipeline for a little while to try and get you onto a live stream to talk a little bit about yourself and the company. And I'm really grateful for you to taking the time to chat with me this morning.
Yeah.
So I guess the best starting point is to talk a little bit about yourself. So background to you and kind of like how you've ended up where you are today.
Yeah, so my background is in content marketing. I was living in Kansas City for a couple of years. I did a lot of corporate marketing there. And then when I relocated to Atlanta, where Goodboy is based, my friend Stefan, who's also my co-founder at Goodboy, he also has another direct-to-consumer subscription brand. He needed help at the time, so I hopped on board and headed up content marketing there, as well as customer experience right out of the gate. So my role kind of morphed a little bit more towards content marketing at the end of my tenure and less in CX. But that's kind of my background. I've just been in marketing, ever since post college. So just kind of doing a little bit of everything.
Did you ever feel like, did you always think, you'd like to start your own company? Was it something that is kind of in the back of your mind that as you went through your career thinking like, I feel like I could do this at some stage, that I could start something of my own? Or was it purely inspired by circumstance?
Yeah. So I feel like maybe to my detriment, I'm kind of a stubborn person. So I always kind of knew I wanted to do something on my own. I think it was just, I was strong-willed as a kid. My mom still tells me this all the time, like how difficult of a child I was. I just didn't want to listen to her. So I kind of always wanted to call the shots. I just didn't know, kind of what my calling was going to be. So after working in the subscription space and then in direct-to-consumer and consumer products, it just kind of ignited my excitement for potentially doing building a brand like that.
So let's talk a little bit about Goodboy then, because it's kind of a bit of a special story to how this came about.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully she's quiet for the rest of this journey. But the whole reason behind Goodboy was really inspired by my dog Finley. So she at the time was a 4-year-old chocolate lab. And she was diagnosed with this really, really rare form of cancer kind of out of the blue. So it really took us by surprise. So kind of outside of giving her, a really quality dog food and giving her, a regular exercise routine, I just kind of realized that I could be doing so much more for her when it came to her health. So she was my real inspiration, at least personally speaking, behind the brand. So she kind of got my wheels turning. I kind of just realized that there really wasn't another pet brand out there kind of being super transparent and really leading in with this kind of educational aspect of helping people to pick the right products for their dog specific needs. So it was a little bit of, I saw a need in the market, but also a lot of just a really personal inspiration from Finley.
I've got some screenshots and things of the website here to share. So you have a quiz. So part of it is obviously somebody comes to the website, they have their pet, the dog, and of course, like all dogs are different. They have all different needs, different dietary requirements, different types of hair. Like I guess like factoring in creating these supplements must be kind of difficult to bring together all these different requirements and needs of pets.
Yeah. So, we, tried to bring on really, like I said, really top quality products, but also products that were going to really solve some specific issues. So at least with this quiz, every buyer is different. Some people are hitting our site knowing exactly what they need or the issues that, their dog is facing. But a lot of people do need their handheld and, maybe potentially supplements are kind of a new thing for them. So this quiz is intended for kind of like that learning process, helping people find the best plan to get their dog on based on many different factors. So we take in everything into consideration from breed to weight to age, and then it moves kind of into more detailed issues kind of in regards to their health. And then at the end of the quiz, we get them on a customized plan that's tailored to their dosage structure, and then shipped accordingly as well.
No, I don't have a pet dog, but I did go through the process. I thought I just wanted to see, like what the process was like, and it's so nice and also personalized and fun, of course, as well, as you can see there, right? Got like just some like drop down options and things that are just like make the process fun, and I feel obviously brings that real personal touch. And so I think kind of interesting with this not being an existing market, like how in terms of deciding like how to source the ingredients for these types of supplements and all the nutrients, like what was that process like?
Yeah, so it took probably 6 to 8 months to find a manufacturer that we wanted to partner with. So we had a lot of just real non-negotiables when it came to the types of products that we wanted to offer. So I mean, just kind of breezing through it quickly, but we didn't want any unnecessary additives or fillers, because a lot of products on the market now are kind of pumped with a lot of fillers that really don't do anything for your dog's health. They kind of cheapen the product and just make them easier to manufacture. So that was kind of a non-negotiable for us. We wanted all of our facilities to be certified. So we wanted them to be inspected. We wanted to make sure that all of the equipment that was being used was up to date, clean, all of that. And then all natural and organic when possible too. And then obviously sourced all within the US. So that's a big thing, especially for kind of big box offerings that we were trying to get away from. The transparency in ingredient sourcing is sometimes a little touch and go. So we wanted to be really upfront about that and really clear about where we were getting all of our ingredients. So that being said, again, took us about 6 or 8 months, but we landed on a partner to help us create our product. They're based in Kansas, so it's just been a really nice organic relationship between the two of us. They're also, pretty small scale, which kind of gives us the ability to make adjustments quickly and kind of make product-specific requests that we potentially wouldn't have been able to do if we would have gone with a larger scale manufacturer. So, I mean, some of our supplements are even hand pressed. Not all of them, but some of them are. So it just kind of shows you just partnering with somebody small can really be beneficial from the get-go.
And so how long ago did the company launch? What year did you say? Was that in 2019?
So last year. So we kind of unofficially launched last summer. It was basically a soft launch to test our quiz, make sure everything was kind of working really well. And then we officially launched in December of last year. So it's been, about 6.5, 7 months of being live.
How's obviously launching in 2019, then we hit 2020, which is kind of fun. Like it's been pretty wild. So what's the experience been like?
I think before all of this happened and kind of like the impending doom of what was going to happen, we were worried just because we were new and we didn't really know, what to expect, like a lot of people. But thankfully, people have been spending more time at home and more time with their animals. So it's been thankfully a really great couple of months for Goodboy, especially kind of right out of the gate, as well as a new brand. So we've definitely had some things fall in our favor, which I'm very, very thankful for. But I think people are, they're just spending more time at home and more time with their families and a lot more time with their pets. So they're really a lot more engaged as to, what's going on with them and kind of some health issues or just goals that they want to set for their pets. So it's kind of been a double-edged sword in the sense of, not knowing and being worried, but being really pleasantly surprised at the end of it with kind of the response that we're seeing from people and our subscribers.
I feel like a lot of people during this kind of lockdown as well, like I've certainly missed not having a pet. I've usually always had one, and office life and having to commute and all that kind of stuff just push you away from having a pet at home. And so I know we saw in our own office a lot of people getting puppies or rescuing, going to the pounds and taking home pets. So there might even be an influx of pet owners.
Yeah, we work with a couple rescues here locally in Atlanta, and I mean, they cleared their shelters early on in the pandemic. So like March, April, I mean, they were almost like couldn't get dogs fast enough because people were, fostering, especially, you're quarantined and you're alone. If you do live alone, you want that companionship, and people just want to do the best for their pets. Pets are just no longer, backyard animals. They're ingrained in everything that we do. So yeah, it's been, if anything, this has been great for the pets.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's nice to see empty shelters, that's for sure. Like it's really heartwarming to see that happen.
Yeah.
What about in terms of your customers then? So can you tell us a little bit about your customers, how you tend to engage with them, and and build that relationship?
Yeah. So we have kind of set out from the beginning to have a really, really open line of communication with our customers. So our customers are vocal and want to share and want their stories to be heard. So, I think over the course of the past 6 months, we've been able to kind of lock in on who our customer is. It's largely the millennial age group. A lot of people, in that 24 to 35-year-old age group are waiting longer to have kids or choosing not to have kids at all. So pets, dogs specifically, are kind of swooping in there and filling kind of that void that traditionally or older generations, would have had kids earlier or even got married and, progressed naturally that way. So we have kind of seen that this age group, which is, our demo, are really, really focusing a lot of their attentions on their pets. So you can kind of see it, in the copy, in the way that we talk to our users. It's largely geared, I don't want to say like trendy, but we're using words that are common speak in a certain age group, and we're kind of drilling down to really talk to that age group as well. So that's kind of just been interesting it was what we thought from the beginning, but to really solidify that was kind of our demo was interesting over the past couple of months. But how we speak to them, we're just super honest and upfront, and we want people to share their feedback, and we're constantly, pinging our subscribers, our early subscribers, our new subscribers, and, just eliciting feedback. It's just key for us, and allows us to, actually make changes to what our customers want and not just trends in the pet space. So that's been really helpful.
Have you had feedback from them that you've, already, directly kind of implemented into the products, into the service that you're providing?
Yeah. So I think it was at the beginning of this year, we were getting a lot of feedback that people's dogs were experiencing a higher level of meat allergies. So meat and mixed meat allergies. So when you have two proteins in one source, a lot of dogs were having digestive issues, stomach issues. So that was kind of on the rise, and that was just something that I didn't I didn't know and I never really anticipated. So kind of after getting a lot of feedback from our customers, it would be nice for you guys to offer a supplement that didn't have any meat products. We were able to go to our manufacturer and strip our most popular formula of all the meat products. So that was really helpful. And, that's a number one example of being able to take feedback that's directly given to you and make small changes that can, have an incremental effect. So now all the people that, were visiting our site once before and were like, oh, I can't do this because every single one of their offerings has a meat product in it. Now there's one product, and, our goal is to hopefully get towards removing those from, I wouldn't say all of them, but some more of them to give people more options. That was, a direct reflection of feedback that we had received. And then we were able to do that, within, a matter of weeks.
It's amazing, really, because the agility, obviously, having those direct conversations, being kind of able to just make those changes and is compared to any other companies perhaps who are creating these types of products that are bigger, it would take them potentially years to make that happen.
Yeah, and partnering with the smaller manufacturer as well, they're always open and to making those changes. They're solely dependent upon the feedback that they typically don't get that feedback. So it was nice to relay that to them as well and be able to make those changes quickly.
And I know you'd also, in terms of partnerships, not just in terms of the manufacturing partnerships, but also you partnered with Nordstrom. I always say it's wrong. I think it's because of that Britishness. I don't know. But you shared some. You've basically, your products have been available with them. So what's that also been like in terms of to help promote your products in the company, or what's that relationship been like?
Yeah. So we. I think it was within weeks of our December launch, Nordstrom reached out to us about getting our supplements into their store and also online. So they had kind of, picked up on this trend that people were, pet crazy. So they kind of created this new pet arm of their business. So they had these kind of activations in store, and then as well as kind of a robust pet store online. So yeah, that was totally out of the blue again. And I think it's just, we were like, did you guys mean to do this? It was so soon after our launch, and, they must have seen us through an Instagram ad. We're not 100% sure there, but that kind of progressed really quickly. So within, a couple weeks, we had our supplements in their location in Seattle and then online. And then this spring, kind of early spring, so like February-ish, we were in 8 more stores in store, and then again, re-upped online as well. So, it was huge for us, and, banking on and piggybacking off of a brand like Nordstrom. I mean, they have a lot of the are kind of servicing a lot of the same customers, that we're going after. So the kind of partnership was super organic for us, and it's been really cool, and a really great talking point as well. And we've also been able to get some good feedback too of kind of piggybacking off of a larger brand to get the product out, and then also just brand awareness, which is really big for us right out of the gate to be on shelves in such a big store.
And I guess also at a time like this with obviously e-commerce is booming. Everybody is buying online, or has been, and people are seeing kind of like crazy increase in numbers. And in terms of for yourself and for the brand, having that physical presence, but also obviously being available online and on your site as well as theirs, must be a huge bonus. How do you feel like e-commerce is, in terms of future thinking and just kind of, beyond this year, how do you feel like e-commerce might shape out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super thankful that, we went after this platform, from the get-go. I think that, we're all brands that are not online are going to have to, figure it out and figure it out fast. You just don't know with what's going on. It's just life's full of uncertainty right now for a lot of people. So, just being able to reach your customer at home is really, really big, because we're going to be at home, or should be at home for the foreseeable future here. So, I just think that, people are going to be, we've seen the trends of, historic products that you would go to the grocery store for or go to a traditional pet store for. People are, not doing that as much and moving online for just that ease. And then now I think it's transitioned from ease to safety. So, I think e-commerce is the future. It's the present.
And what about, yeah. What about adjusting things like your key performance indicators and your KPIs during the pandemic? Have you has that like focus or those that kind of changed, or what about adjusting those?
For us, like, they've really largely stayed the same. We haven't made any real adjustments. We've kind of had this framework for how we want to be as a brand, and kind of, banking off of how we want to stay in contact with our customers. I feel like when, everything came about with COVID, and there were a lot of brands that realized that, they really didn't have a pulse on what their customer was saying. They were, wrapped up in digital advertising, or wrapped up in, all the things that you should be doing to kind of, create a brand that's going to withstand something like this. But I think a lot of people, kind of lost touch with the person that matters the most, which is your customer. So, I think if anything, we really leaned into that part of our business of, making sure that that line of communication was open, and we wanted to give our customers flexibility, whether that's, I lost my job due to the virus, like, can you pause my subscription? Or, there's so many things that, we just wanted to be engaged with. And we need to support the people that we have as customers and our subscribers now. So, no, we didn't really adjust. We didn't really adjust much. I think we just leaned into our community and tried to learn as much as we could.
Have they been asking for more products for, like, because I'm a cat lover. I love all animals, but I am kind of partial to a cat for sure. So have you had, cat lovers asking for products?
Yeah. I know, I have a cat too, and he's amazing. But there's definite, we have other products that are coming down the pipeline here this year. They are not specifically cat, but we have looked into cat products, and there's cat supplements are a thing as well. So we are primed to take on that market as well. But just to answer your question, we really do want to be, a pet wellness brand. Supplements were kind of what we focused on, right out of the gate. But we do have plans to be more of a general pet wellness brand. So we don't want to exclude the cats forever, because I know there's a lot of cat people out there, me included.
Oh, they're being very well behaved anyway in the background. Just before we went live, you kind of messaged that I hope that they behave themselves. And I was like, well, also everyone's used to being at home, doing calls, having kind of some chaotic stuff going on in the background, so it's nice to have a little appearance from pets going on during calls.
I know. I have my good dog, Finley. She's here and she's being quiet, but I have one bad dog, and she's actually at training camp this month. So that's why we don't have any noise. It's quiet. My good animals are here, and my bad dog is at summer camp, we say.
It's summer camp trying to get better. Well, it's good to hear. It's good to hear that Finley is obviously doing well and recovered from being sick and poorly, which is what started this whole company and process.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think finally, in terms of advice for new businesses, with just launching in so recently in 2019, and also just looking at if you could go back and do anything differently, or what kind of we think is good advice to give to anybody who's starting a new company.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, I think the most important piece of advice that I would give, and I wish that it wasn't really that long ago, but I wish I could tell myself, is that there are, especially in the direct-to-consumer space, there are a lot of success stories out there, mega success stories, and really there's a kind of attitude that you kind of have to follow that roadmap and get to certain places in X amount of time, or X amount of subscribers in X amount of time. These kind of lofty, which are amazing goals to strive for, but really putting yourself in a box that you have to hit, kind of these milestones in this really, unattainable timeline. If I could tell myself that I shouldn't waste, my brain power or day to day worrying about, where my business is in 1 month or 2 months, and striving for some of these, otherwise really, really unattainable goals, and really just focus on, building your brand and talking to your customers and kind of figuring out what works and what doesn't work, right out of the gate. I would say that don't waste your time comparing yourself to anyone else's milestones, and just really, really focus on your own and creating your own milestones. It's amazing now that people are seeing the benefit of sustainable growth, even if it's slow. Growth is growth, and it's amazing, what you can build just taking small steps every month. So if I could go back and tell myself to, put all the crazy unicorn stories kind of in the background and really just focus on what I'm doing and the brand that I'm building, I think I, would have saved myself a little bit of heartache.
It's great advice, for sure. I think it's so hard, right? When you kind of see all these amazing new challenger brand stories, and the expectation is just to have this accelerate huge growth. But as you say, slowly but surely, slow and steady wins the race, as they say, right, in the long term.
Yeah, and you pull up anything nowadays, any articles. I mean, people are praising the slow, sustainable growth. It's sexy now, so it's nice.
I like that. Slow, sustainable growth is sexy.
Yeah.
Absolutely, totally true. Well, thank you so much, Kari, for joining us today. Really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. Where can people, I'm just going to bring up here, this is from the website, but where can people find more info? Where can they follow you on Instagram and places like that?
Yeah, so we are trygoodboy.com, and we are also on Instagram at trygoodboy. So follow us, tag us, do reach out, holler, DM, anything. We are always up and available. So yeah, come check us out.